Hello everybody, I'm Lisa Knopfsinger, and I'm so excited to come to you guys to talk to y'all about mindset. It is one of my favorite things to talk about, probably because I struggle with it the most, so I'm constantly in this state of educating myself and trying to learn more about how to change my mindset to a positive way of thinking so I can have an impact in the lives of others. Do you know that your beliefs, they aren't who you are? The way that you think about yourself is not who you are. It's actually just a set of thoughts that you've told yourself. And usually those thoughts are lies. So we're in this prison of lies and we don't even realize that we are the gatekeeper to that prison, which keeps us from forging on whenever we hit a roadblock. The way that we think is what's going to either give us that green light or that red light to be able to determine what we do next. So a green light story is you have someone on your team quit, and it's devastating and it makes you so sad and it hurts your feelings. And that red light story, you have the situation that's negative, you have that red light story that says, well, that's it, I'm done. I can't do it without her. She was my primary leg. She was my biggest runner, and so now I can't do it. And I'm not good enough to do it without her. And I don't know anybody else to have on my team that can help work this with me. I don't know anybody else. I'm done. So that's a red light story. It stops you in your track. So a green light story would be, oh, you know, that really stinks that that a huge runner of mine left, and it makes me so sad and it hurts my feelings. Okay, so let's acknowledge that we have those feelings. It's okay, let's lean in, let's press into those feelings. You bring those feelings of fear and doubt and insecurity into the light, and then they don't have that power over you. So recognize the feeling, bring them into the light, acknowledge them. Okay, so the green light story is, but you know what, I'm gonna press on, and I'm still going to do the steps that it takes every day to have a successful business, to be a successful leader and to have successful leaders on my team. This is not an overnight business, you guys. This is an everyday take action kind of a thing. You know, as far as the stories that we tell ourselves, we have stories that serve us and we have stories that harm us. And so one of the things, I went to that conference in May, I think it was, in Dallas, for Bob Heilig, and he was great. And he talked about the stories that we tell ourselves. He made us go through this exercise. And so I'm going to share with you what I wrote down. So he said, what is the story that you're telling yourself that is no longer serving you? Well, the story that I'm telling myself that's no longer serving me is I'm not good enough and I'm not smart enough and no one wants to hear what I have to say. Well, that's not, what good does that do? He actually goes on to ask, what do you get from hanging on to that story? What is something good that you get from hanging on to that victim mentality kind of story? You know, you don't know what happened to me. You don't know what she said. You don't know what my teacher in 3rd grade said to me that shaped my way of thinking. You know, my parents said I would never amount to anything. My coach said I wasn't talented, that I would never be able to be successful in this field or that. So what good do you get from hanging on to that story? Oh, I get nothing good. But I do get an out. I do get a get out of jail free card, or so I think, by not trying harder or trying to find another way to be successful. We have to learn a different way around these stories that we're hanging on to. But whenever we play the victim, I can't do it, I don't have enough resources, anything negative that we're telling ourselves, we have this victim story, this victim mentality. However, it does get us attention and it gets us sympathy, which feels good for a while. But eventually we're going to have to come out of that way of thinking if we're going to get anything done, if we're going to be able to make an impact in the lives of others. The third question that he asked was, what will it cost you? So a year from now, you're still stuck in the same pattern. What will you have gained? And my answer was, well, I'll gain nothing. It's going to cost me. What's it going to cost me? By playing the victim and having those red light stories, it's going to cost me my ability to change my family's future and security. It's going to cost me the chance to make a difference in the lives of others. We can't pour from an empty cup. We've all heard that. So we can't pour belief into others, which is so crucial as a leader. We cannot pour belief into others if we don't have belief in our own cup. So how can we get belief in our own cup? Well, we have to pay attention to what we're watching, what we're listening to, who we're hanging around. those things that we're putting in our mind daily. We have to have daily affirmations. We have to make sure that we have quiet times, that we spend time with the Lord, and just let Him daily just breathe into us and remind us that we are a child of God, and that we are overcomers, and that we can do anything we put our minds to. So what's your new story going to be? We all have a story. And so I hope today that you're going to start telling yourself a new story, that you're going to get rid of the thing that no longer serves you. Because unfortunately, and this kind of stung a little bit when Bob Heilig said this, he said, no one else cares about your story but you. And as tough as that is to swallow, it's something that we do need to realize that it's true, and we need to address it, that the world does not revolve around us. And that is a selfish way of thinking, to think that, well, my fear and doubts and insecurity, that's enough of a red light story to be able to tell myself so I don't have to be held accountable to reach bigger goals or to be the leader that I know I need to be. So if we can address those red light stories, we have to change the way that we address conflict and find out a new way to go around it, and it starts with your thinking. So on the other side of fear is success, but we have to address that fear with the way that we think. The Bible says 365 times, do not be afraid. So I think that that's definitely something that worth taking note of, that there are so many different ways that the Lord knew that we would be fearful, that would stop us in our tracks, that would keep us from being the influencer that He created us to be, to make a difference in the lives of others. But it starts with us, and it starts with our way of thinking. I hope you guys found some value in this. I'm so excited to be doing this series, and I can't wait to hear more. Talk to y'all later.